Hello everyone. Welcome to another session on Ways with Words. In this session, I am going to start with your poem, the first poem that I want to discuss, that is Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. I will try to brief to you about Gabriel Okara. Gabriel Okara is a Nigerian poet from yes, a Nigerian poet, and of course, Nigeria belongs to Africa, so he's basically an African poet. And he is considered as the first modern poet of Anglophone Africa. Okay, Anglophone. You can see that there are two major literary traditions in Africa. Africa as a whole. I'm talking about Africa as a continent. It has got so many different countries. And the two major literary traditions that you can see over there is one is Francophone and the other one is Anglophone. Francophone is French literary tradition and Anglophone is English literary tradition. These were like the two major colonizers of Africa, okay, like the French and the English, and they have contributed, they have given their language to Africa, or you can say the people of Africa, and through which you can say you can see that there are two major literary traditions in Africa. Okay, that's one point. Another thing is like Gabriel Okara is considered as the first modernist writer of the Anglophone tradition. Why we call him as modernist? In any post-colonial literature for that matter, or you can say in any colonial literature for that matter in English, in the colonial period, they have a kind of a tradition to imitate the colonizers, in their language and in their style, in the treatment of themes, they used to imitate their colonizers. Likewise, you can say, when we look into the literatures in English in India, okay, in the early period of Anglo Indian literature, or you can say Indian English literature, there is a tendency by Indian writers. I am giving you the example of India for to make the concept pretty more clear. Okay, so there was a tendency among Indian writers, Indian English writers in the beginning to imitate English writers, or you can say British writers. They used to imitate their themes. Okay, അവിടെ ഡോവർ ബീച്ചിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പോയിരുന്ന് കവിത എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമ്മളിവിടെ നമ്മുടെ അടുത്തുള്ള ഏതെങ്കിലും നല്ല ബീച്ചിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പോയിരുന്നിട്ട് ഇംഗ്ലീഷുകാരുടെ രീതിയിൽ കവിത എഴുതും. Their style, their language, their theme, all these things, especially British romantic poets, they were like much celebrated in India. So we used to imitate them, their style and everything. And why? Likewise, you can see a trend in Africa also. But when there are certain writers, they have come out of this particular common style in colonial literature. We call them as more or less like modernist writers. ആ ഒരു ട്രഡീഷനിൽ നിന്ന് മാറി ചിന്തിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മൾ മോഡേണിസ്റ്റ് റൈറ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ദർ ഇസ് one they have experimented with many things like the style and everything, of which most important one is the theme that they have taken. Here you can see he is talking about his lost of innocence. You are getting it. He is talking about what that lost glory of Africa, which is quite un-English, I should say. Normally we don't see such themes in an English writing, but when we see such things in an English writing, he laments on what the lost glory of Africa. To whom? To the colonizers. അവർ വന്നപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നത് പലതും നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു. ആ തീം എന്താണ്? ഇത് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ കാണുന്ന ഒരു തീമല്ല. ദിസ് ഈസ് ലൈക്ക് റൈറ്റിംഗ് അഗൻസ്റ്റ് ദി എംപയർ, writing against the colonial powers. Clear with that? And because of that, you can call this as a modernist poem. I hope I am clear. Okay, yes. So that is the second point that I want to discuss with you. One, First one was he is a Nigerian writer. Second one, he is considered as one of the first modernist poet of Anglophone Africa. Okay. Then you have to remember one or two works, important works of the writer, and if the person has won any prestigious awards, that also you have to remember. Here there is no Nobel Prize or anything of that kind, so there is no need to look into that. Okay, otherwise from the introduction part, that is what you have to note down, because you will get questions from that based on that. Now you can see that in the second paragraph, Gabriel Okara can be considered as highly original and uninfluenced by other poets, and that is why we call him as the first modernist poet, uninfluenced by other poets, not just of Africa but even of England. You are getting it. Then he has been extremely successful in capturing the moods, sights and sounds of Africa. Here it is not that evident because this is like a very small poem, but in other works, it is very clear, like, how exactly he has traced or he has captured the mood of Africa. Here at one point I'll tell you like how exactly you can see that, a mood of Africa, and there are certain instances of sights that he captures. Then that is about Gabriel Okara. In the next two paragraph, it's more or less like a summary of the poem, which we will I want you to read it once I'm done with the poem. Okay, so it is basically about what he laments on his lost innocence or the lost innocence of Africa. Okay, and he's not that happy with the cultural changes that occurred to Africa, especially after colonization. The colonizers, as they have introduced so many changes, especially to the culture of Africa, and he's not happy with it. That is what he's trying to discuss in the poem, and he wants to go back to that old period where their culture was not influenced by the colonizers, because he feels that that particular point they were genuine and now they are artificial. Clear with that? There is no sincerity in among the people right now. What with the coming of the colonizers, they have not just taught their language but also their manners. Colonizers അവരുടെ ലാംഗ്വേജും അവരുടെ മാനേഴ്സും എല്ലാം പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. And with that, what happened? We have lost our sincerity. We are no longer sincere. And we want to go back what? To the lost glory of Africa. Africa നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട ആ നല്ല കാലത്തേക്ക് തിരിച്ചു പോകണം. This is his prayer, or he can say this is what he states as his wish, in the poem. Clear with that? I hope I'm done with the introduction part. You just read it and try to understand the video, the things that I have discussed and the ideas that are discussed in the book. Clear? Yes, we'll see in another video. I want all of you to have the textbook with you. If you don't have, I will attach a copy of the poem along with my video in the Google Classroom. You can download it and you can read it. Okay, take care.